Namaste, everybody. Such a pleasure to see all of you. Today, we are going to talk about digestion. More specifically, I'm going to talk about how our food choices affect our health as well as our environment. Because if we eat something, it may be good for us, it may be very healthy for us, it may provide us the nutrition we are looking for. But if it happens to be damaging to the environment, then that's not a good choice, correct? So let's see if we can go through a few slides I have. I hope you'll enjoy that presentation. The title should say Health and Environmental Conservation through Diet Purification. Can everybody see this? Very good. So let's talk about how health and environment can be conserved through diet purification. This is based on some experiments I have done on myself as well as many other people. Also the contemplation based on the observed results. Let's look at some fundamental principles first. Nature's design is perfect. There are no mistakes. In nature, everything happens according to natural law. There is no deviation and there is no imperfection. Okay? All living organisms seek health and well being. Everybody wants to be well. Nobody wants to be in pain. Nobody wants to be in sorrow. Nature has programmed all of us for health, which is essential for our survival and propagation. Not just human beings, but every other species. Health and well-being depend upon healthy food, healthy environment, and harmony among organisms and their environment. So these are very fundamental natural principles. Okay. How do we maintain optimum health? We can maintain optimum health by eating appropriate food, doing the appropriate exercise, doing appropriate work, and also play. It's not all work and no play. If that's the case, then you will become dull. You should have a nice balance of work as well as play. And then rest, important. Everybody has to do proper rest. How many of you have had this kind of thali before? If you go to a big Indian restaurant, they will serve you this kind of Maharaja thali. What happens is with cooked food, it enhances the flavor and digestibility of some food items, but it can also decrease the nutritional and energy value. The more you cook, the more you process, the less the nutritional value of the food item. Usually, okay, larger quantities of cooked food will need to be consumed. So we'll need to control portion sizes and proportion of cooked food and natural food. So let us do a small math problem. If you are consuming, say, 100 units of food, out of which the body will absorb something and throw away the rest of it. We cannot convert all the food into our body 100%. It doesn't happen. Starting from day one, even the baby cannot do that. The baby is basically on as pure a food item it can find. That food item doesn't even see daylight. The food goes directly from the mother's body into the child's body. But even that food doesn't get completely converted into the body. Some material gets thrown out. Right? Okay. So let's say 100 units of food are consumed. Out of that, some portion is retained and some portion is thrown out. Let us say 20 is retained, 80 is thrown out. That's how efficient our systems are. I mean, they are not any more efficient than that. So if a baby drinks 100 mils of milk, it will usually generate 80 mils of poop. I'm just giving you numbers. Nobody has measured those. I'm sure people would have measured those, but just to explain to you the concept. Say if you consume 100, throw away 80. 20 you have consumed. So your requirement is 20. So 100 units of food will give you your requirement 20 and throw away 80. Now you process that 100 units in some manner. If you process it and then its nutritional or energy value goes down, say it goes down to 10, but your requirement is 20. So how much food will you have to eat in order to meet that 20 units of requirement? Twice as much, right? So instead of 100 units, you have to consume 200 units because those 200 units have been processed and the nutritional value, whereas it used to be 20 units of nutrition in 100, now it has remained only 10 units of nutrition in 100. So you have to consume 200 units of food. Guess what has happened now? You retained the 20 which you required, but you threw away how much? 180. So at one time you were generating only 80 units of garbage. Now you are generating 180 units of garbage. So you have become suddenly more than twice as efficient in producing garbage. Do you think that's why nature has brought us here? I hope not. I hope we can be more efficient than this. So I'll show you how the other equation works. Now, if you eat natural food, which is produced directly through photosynthesis, and you don't process it, what would be food processed through photosynthesis, which you can eat without processing? Number one would be fruit. So if somebody gives you all kinds of natural stuff, including meat, without processing, what would you choose first? The one that's the most appetizing would be fruit, sweet, seasonal, local fruit. The second thing we can eat is soaked nuts or seeds. We can also eat certain vegetables, not all of them. And we can eat sprouts. These contain enzymes. Enzymes are those substances that help digest our food. I think Didi might have taught you that before. When we consume food like this, in this manner, it is more energy efficient. And once you are used to eating natural food, it is juicy, tasty, as well as full of life energy. Let me ask you a question. Those who are new, those who have not heard me before, I think Arhan might be the only one. Think of the food you eat all day long. How much of that you think is natural and how much of that is cooked? Do you know or can you guess? Maybe it's 10%, 20%, 30% natural food. Do you eat a lot of fruits or vegetables?
Um, I eat bananas and apples.
Oh,
So
very good. Excellent. So if you look at the total amount of food you eat in the entire day,
maybe
how much?
20%. Like
20%?
20% is
That's fine. Great.
unprocessed, and the rest is like cooked food.
Cooked food, right? That's fine. So that's how usually we do, which is okay. Human beings are used to eating cooked food and we can digest cooked food also. If we overcook it or if we cook it and keep it and then eat it after a long time, then food will lose its nutritional and energy value. So more food will have to be consumed and less energy will be acquired through it. That is the problem. I'll show you some other interesting things also. Food gets converted into what is called sapta dhatu or seven fundamental elements or building blocks in our body. The first thing is called rasa. Rasa means the food will get converted into a substance that will eventually be converted into rakta, which is the blood. Rasa rakta. Okay. Rasa, you can say plasma. After plasma, then blood. After blood, the third thing is mamsa or muscle. Fourth thing is meda or fat tissue. Fifth thing is asthi or the bones. Sixth is majja, which is the bone marrow or the nervous system. And the seventh dhatu or the seventh element is shukra or the reproductive tissue. So these are the seven physical tissues that are created out of the food we eat. And the subtlest portion of the food will get converted into what is called ojas. Ojas means the brilliance in the body or the immune system or the immunity of the body. That is called ojas. What is toxicity? It is the buildup of unwanted matter in the body. So if you eat food but don't convert that into all these seven dhatus, then the food gets converted into what is called amavish, according to Ayurveda, which is toxicity, which happens because of improper food habits, lifestyle, digestion, and some undigested residual material is left over in the body, which will generate antagonistic gut microbiota within our gut and which will cause inflammation. Okay, so let me explain to you how this thing works. So you would have seen, if you go to India, whenever you go during your vacation, you might have seen somebody who is squeezing juice out of sugarcane. Have you, is there anyone who has not seen that? How the sugarcane juice is extracted from the sugarcane. Everybody has seen that, correct? What do? They push the sugarcane through certain grinding wheels, and then juice falls down, and the leftover sugarcane comes out to the other side. Do you think this person who is selling you the juice is satisfied by squeezing it only once? No. He will make it twice as thick, then 4 times as thick, 8 times as thick, and then even squeeze it with one hand, and then push it through the squeezing wheels. So whatever comes out at the end of that whole process is basically totally junk. There is no sugar in it. On that material, do you think any ants will go? Ants are more interested in the sugar. But we already extracted all the sugar out of the sugar cane. So that material which is wasted will not attract any ants. Understood the example? The same way, when we eat our food and squeeze the juice out of it, whatever is left over is going to be eaten by those microbes in our gut. Our microbe contains guts. Our gut contains microbes, right? When our stomach is full, the mind doesn't work as efficiently. I just had my lunch. So our gut will have a lot of microbes. Those microbes have been with us since we were born. Okay. When we come out of our mother's body, along the way, we pick up the microbes and then we retain those for our entire life. And then the colony keeps growing as well as switching depending upon the food we eat. Microbes are not our enemies. Don't think of microbes as enemies. I would say more than 95% of microbes in this world are our friends. They help us. What do? Whatever food we are not digesting or we are unable to digest, that food they will digest and squeeze the nutrients out of them, which we absorb. So the microbes work with us symbiotically. They work as our friends. Okay. If we squeeze the juice out of the food we have consumed, which means we take out all the rasa, then whatever is left over, our body has discarded. Our body is unable to squeeze anything out of it anymore. So the bugs or the microbes that will grow in the gut on that material will not be seen by our body as enemies because they are consuming that food which we have discarded. When such microbes stay in our gut, they are friendly towards us. So this is the ideal scenario. On the other hand, if we eat something before we have digested the previous meal in our body, then that material which is partially digested will get pushed down our alimentary canal through the stomach, through the intestines, and all the way down. On that food, those microbes will grow, which are eating the same food we are eating because we haven't completely finished eating it. Which means, in that sugarcane example, there are now ants that are growing on it because not all the sugarcane juice has been squeezed out. When that happens, our body will think of those microbes as our enemies because they're competing for the same food. When that happens, then inflammation happens within the gut. So whenever you have an injury, say on your hand or on your leg, that whole portion becomes inflamed, which means it becomes red. All of our blood cells go towards that area and try to make sure that that place gets better fast. That's the way nature works. Same happens within our gut. If we eat those microbes that our body thinks of as enemies, then our body will trigger the immune system and try to kill those. When this happens perpetually, people will get either constipation or diarrhea or alternating constipation and diarrhea. It's called irritable bowel syndrome. That happens when we continue to eat things we cannot digest or don't digest well, or if we keep eating even good things but eat them very frequently. Without digesting the first batch, if you put more food into your stomach, then the body has no choice but to throw the undigested food down into the alimentary canal, into the intestines. So that's why it is important for us to eat only when we are hungry, because by then the stomach contents would have become zero. When the stomach becomes empty of the previous batch, that's when we get the signals of hunger. That's how we should eat, only when we are hungry. So I've shown you what toxicity means. So if you want to detox, if you want to reverse it, how will you do it? You remove the unwanted material from the system. How will you do that? By proper food habits, proper lifestyle, efficient digestion, so that there is no residual undigested material in the body, because of which friendly microbial population will sustain in your gut. There will be therefore no inflammation. This is just a pictorial representation of the gut microbes. Do you know that we have 10 to 40 trillion human cells and we have 10 to 100 trillions of microbial cells? So when we say that this is my body, maybe only 10% of it is mine. 90% belongs to microbes. So we have to live with microbes throughout our life. When we eat only when we are hungry, through intermittent fasting, we will generate symbiotic gut microbes, which will create a protective environment in our gut, and we will have improved immunity. I'll tell you how that happens. So, we have consumed our food, we have digested everything, and the residual matter is going through our gut, through our intestines. Microbes are growing there. Those microbes are friendly to us. Now, if by mistake you eat some pathogen with your food, the pathogen will have to deal with those friendly microbes in the gut before they can crawl to the intestinal wall. So these friendly microbes will create a nice shield between the food and the intestinal wall. So they are like our outsourced army. They protect us. If we can eat only when we are hungry, then we will generate friendly microbiome within the body that will protect us. On the other hand, when we don't do that, then what happens? In that case, antagonistic microbes will get created, immune system will get activated, and perpetual inflammation will happen, like the irritable bowel syndrome I just talked to you about. We'll get all kinds of lifestyle diseases because of that, because of inefficient digestion. Okay, now if we maintain some discipline, what are the benefits of eating natural food and eating only when we are hungry? We get a healthy gut microbiome, inflammation is reduced, mucus level gets reduced, so we don't get allergies. Our body becomes very flexible. I'll show you some pictures of how my body changed after I underwent this entire discipline. Our oral hygiene is improved. So you don't have to brush your teeth even when you get up in the morning. It's not that you will not brush your teeth, you will brush your teeth, but your mouth will become very clean and it will feel fresh in the morning. Okay. You get a clear and glowing skin. That's another advantage of eating natural food. Body odor is reduced, so your need to use deodorants, etc., is reduced. The diseases are reversed. A lot of our friends, they reverse their diseases. Our body weight, BMI, sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, heart rate, everything becomes normal. So if you are underweight, then you will gain weight. If you are overweight, you will lose weight. Sickness is very rare, and recovery is also very quick because of improved immunity. So what are the practical advantages? First of all, our food requirement is lower because we are squeezing more juice out of the food we are consuming. Therefore, the waste generation is also lower. I explained to you how by eating processed food, we will generate more garbage. We require less sleep. Our body is much more energetic. Therefore, we have much higher productivity. I travel internationally and I have observed that when I'm on 100% natural food, then jet lag is reduced. Time is saved because we don't have to cook much. Fuel is saved because we don't have to cook much. Time is also saved because we don't have to do any dishes. And cooking skills are not necessary. Now, what are the don'ts and do's after listening to my entire talk? If you wanted to take away a couple of slides, what is the takeaway message? What is the take home message? Don't make any sudden changes in diet. Don't eat unless hungry and don't drink unless thirsty. Those are the fundamental rules in our lifestyle. Don't eat past the first birth, which means 50% of your body should be, or 50% of your stomach should be filled with food. 50% space should be left over for digestive juices and air. Okay. Don't eat snacks between meals. Avoid stimulants, avoid intoxicants, drugs, refined sugar, refined flour, refined anything. And also, you should avoid animal derived products to the extent possible. Okay. What should you do? We have learned what not to do. Now we should do all these things. Natural food, which is local and seasonal, we should consume. We should eat simple food, which is local grains or beans cooked from scratch. Eat within an hour of cooking. Don't keep it in the fridge and eat it next day after microwaving. We should eat meals during the sunlight hours. And then we will naturally fast overnight because we are not eating after sunset. So you will fast at least for 12 hours on an average. The first rule is you should eat only when you're hungry. So if you have a late meal and then you don't feel hungry first thing in the morning, don't eat. Eat only when you're hungry. You have to have a regular routine of work, exercise, meal times, recreation, and rest. Only then you will remain very healthy. Sleep before 10 p.m. Do regular exercise, stretches. You've been doing those stretches with Didi, right? I love Surya Namaskar, sun salutations, or you can also play some sport or hobby. So these are the 12 steps of Surya Namaskar we do every day. Didi also teaches that. I promised you that we'll talk about not just health but also environmental impact, correct? So what is the environmental impact of eating natural food? When we eat a lot of fruit, those fruit trees will provide shade, bird habitat, as well as groundwater conservation. So these are the positive environmental impacts. The carbon footprint of eating natural food is very low. And then because of our demand for natural food, mostly fruit, farmers are incentivized to plant more trees, large fruit trees. They can get relatively long-term income for relatively low maintenance. You don't have to babysit these fruit trees as much as you have to babysit some other crop. Okay. Once we do that, then we can see transformation in people. So we have another Didi here. Her name is Pooja. She was transformed. Look at the glow on her skin, as well as, of course, she looks much fitter, reduced weight. Medha, my sister, she is from Borivali in Mumbai. She lost about 5 kilos in a month. Naina Didi happens to be in California also, in the US. She lost about 30 pounds. Look at the glow on their skin. Mandara, our brother who lives in Pune. He lost 20 kilos within 2 months. 20 kilos is how much? Can anybody tell me? 44 pounds?
Plus his
Diabetes,
diabetics medicines.
diabetes medication also stopped. Correct. So those benefits you can incur if you follow this lifestyle. Sanjay Dada, our brother, he also lost 10 kilos. Do you recognize this face? This is our own Priyanka Didi. She was also transformed. Another Priyanka, she is in Pune. She also lost about 10 kilos. Looks much better now, much fitter. This is Naina Didi's daughter, Dr. Ketki. She lost about 30 pounds as well. And recognize this person. This was my own body in 2017. In about 4 months, it was completely transformed when I transformed my diet. And it is still that way. If you look at the health parameters, I lost about 12 kilos. Waist, I lost about 6 inches. Weight, I told you already, I lost about 12 kilos. Blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, everything was normal. And look at the strength, balance, and flexibility. This is the kind of flexibility you can enjoy even at this advanced age. Therefore, we run a program called Sattva, which is a diet purification, lifestyle modification program in which we provide guidance to anybody and everybody who would like to change their lifestyle. So this is what I wanted to present, and I wanted to see if you had any questions or comments on this. So anybody who has a comment can unmute and raise their hands or talk.
Any questions, any doubt that you could not link it with? Like how your eating fruits is helping the environment.
Did you understand everything that was talked about? Or did you not understand something? If you have not understood something, please ask me and I'll be happy to explain. Did you understand the connection between friendly gut microbes and unfriendly gut microbes? How they come about? Does that make sense? Whether it happens exactly like that or not, I don't know, but it's easier to remember. Because if you do the right thing, then right results will happen. You'll have a much better experience of life and health and well-being than you had earlier. That's the beauty of this lifestyle.
How many of you had cavities or you experienced cavity? Good. Why do you get cavities?
Um, Not keeping your mouth teeth clean.
So what happens exactly there if you don't keep it clean?
Um, your teeth get bad, basically.
Okay, let me tell you. The food particles that remain on the teeth, which do not go either inside or being thrown outside, maybe stuck somewhere. What happens? What kind of microbes they grow? They grow same kind of microbes that are looking for the food, for the nutrition that we are eating. Isn't it? Just like ant. You know, they take sugar, we take sugar, so we both are competitor here. Similarly, the microbes, those are growing on your responsible for the cavities, they like to eat those food. Okay, once the nail in teeth enamel is damaged by the microbes because the food is constantly there and they're digging on it, digging on it, digging on it. Okay, so once it is enamel is gone, now the microbes is touching the live tissue of the teeth. When it touches the live tissue of the teeth, the pain occurs, inflammation occurs. The same way, inside also our body, whenever any food particle stuck to your food stomach lining or the gut lining, okay, some those a competitive kind of microbe will grow on that lining, okay, and they will start eating those food. And as a result, as soon as they reach the membrane of that lining, there will be inflammation, there will be hurt in that. Why? The body recognizes that these are enemies. They are eating me. They are eating the tissue, the body, the damaging. So the body creates a resistance to it by doing inflammation. It's like a healing process. Inflammation is only caused when the body is trying to fight back whatever causing the problem. Okay, so once the inflammation happened, then you feel that pain and all, you know, something has to be done there, right? Similarly, in your guts, if you don't pay attention what you are eating and when you are eating, competitive microbes will grow inside and they will cause inflammation the same way we lose our teeth. Okay, did you understand? And it's very easy. We feel like it's all vacuum or there is no air going inside. It's not like that. When we breathe, the air goes inside, the microbes goes inside, or they grow inside only. The environment inside is also growing some kind of natural microbe since you're born. They were there installed already, right? Do you understand the relation?
Also, when you eat a lot of sugar, the sugar which gets stuck, or the carbohydrate that gets stuck into your teeth, the microbes will generate acid by fermenting it. So that acid will also erode your enamel. So a lot of acidity that occurs in our mouth or within our gut or in the stomach, acidity is not a good thing. So we don't want acidity to happen. If we eat only when we are hungry, actually if you are hungry and if you don't eat, then also acidity will happen. Ayurveda says yuktahara viharasya means you have to consume the proper amount of food when you are hungry. So of course you should not eat unless you are hungry, but you should eat when you are hungry. If you don't eat when you are not hungry, it is a good thing. If you don't eat when you are hungry, that's not a good thing either. You should eat when you are hungry, but there is a way in which you should eat. When we sit down to eat, we sit in silence, we focus on the food, we chew it well. You should drink your solids and you should chew your liquids. What does it mean? When you eat anything solid, just like chapati or paratha or rice or dal, you chew it so much that it becomes pulp so you can drink it, you can gulp it. Whereas if you drink a fluid, if you drink a sip of water also, and you keep it in your mouth for a while, as long as you would normally keep chewing a morsel of food. They say the rule of thumb, or in this case, I would say the rule of teeth, is you chew your food 32 times. So how do you remember to chew your food 32 times? I'll give you a simple mantra. How does that mantra work? Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. I ate so far. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 8 and 8, 16. Repeat. That will become 32. So if you do this mantra, you don't have to say it loudly. You just have to think about it. You have to repeat that in your own mind while you are eating, chewing the food. Focus on the food, focus on the chewing, also chant the mantra in your own mind. If you do that, then you will not get sick, regardless of the situation. Promise. And you are very young. See, in my case, in the last 8 or so years, I have fallen sick maybe once or twice. One time was because I took a COVID vaccine and then I didn't get sick, but the day after I took the vaccine, I felt like I should take a nap in the afternoon. That's all. So if you are healthy, if your immune system is good, if you can get hungry every day, and if you sleep peacefully every day, and your stomach gets emptied in the morning, so your motion is good, appetite is good, and sleep is also good. If these three things are working well for you, then you don't have to fear anybody or anything. Okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Good. Shall we stop here? and then we'll meet again. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and we will go from there. All right. Appreciate your coming here. Bye bye.